Hi friends, welcome to SeekerGK. Today we are going to talk about dependent clause and its types. In our previous lesson, we have explained clause and its types in very detail. Today we are going to mainly focus on noun clause, adjective clause and adverb clause. Let's explain briefly what is a clause. A clause is a group of words having subject plus verb combination which provides a complete sense or meaning. For example, he takes exercise daily. Let's see if it satisfies the following conditions or not. So, it is a group of words. It also contains subject plus verb, that is subject and verb, and this whole part is also known as a predicate. So it also contains a subject plus a predicate, and it also provides a complete sense. Therefore this is called a clause and also known as a simple sentence. So a clause is mainly divided into independent clause or dependent clause. Independent clause is also called a main clause and it is known as a simple sentence. It expresses a complete thought and alone can stand as a sentence. Therefore, it is also known as main clause or a simple clause. On the other hand, dependent clause does not express a complete thought and it cannot stand alone as a sentence. It depends on another clause, that is main clause, to express a complete idea. Such a clause is called subordinate or dependent clause. For example, he is buying a shirt which looks very nice. Here, he is buying a shirt. It is a complete sentence. It provides a complete idea and a complete thought. And it can also stand alone as a sentence. Therefore, it is known as an independent clause. On the other hand, which looks very nice, it does not provide or expresses a complete idea, and it cannot stand alone as a sentence. Therefore, it is dependent on another clause, that is main clause, and called as dependent or subordinate clause. Now, dependent clause or subordinate clause and its types. Dependent clause is mainly divided into three types, that is noun clause, adjective clause and adverb clause. Now let's explain one by one. Before going into detail, this is my introduction. And please make sure that you have watched our previous lesson about clause and its types. If you have not watched, go and watch it as soon as possible so that you may be capable to understand the depth of the classes and its types. Now, types of dependent clause. A dependent clause is also known as subordinate clause. A subordinate or dependent clause may function as a noun, an adjective, or adverb in a sentence. On the basis of their function in a sentence, dependent clauses can be divided into these three types. So now let's explain them one by one. What is a noun clause? A dependent clause that function as a noun in a sentence is called a noun clause. A noun clause performs same function like a noun in a sentence. For example, what he did made a problem for his family. In the above sentence, the clause what he did functions as a noun. Hence, it is called a noun clause. A noun clause works as a noun that may act as a subject, object, or a predicate in a sentence. Now let's see how it works. And these also starts with words like that, what, whatever, who, whomever, and whoever, etc. Now let's see some more examples. Whatever you learn will help you in future. Here, noun clause acts as a subject. And what you said, here it also acts as a subject. He knows that he will pass the test. Here the noun clause acts as an object while now I realize what he would have thought. Here it acts as an object. Now let's explain adjective clause. A dependent clause that functions as an adjective in a sentence is called adjective clause. An adjective clause works like adjective in a sentence. The function of an adjective is to modify or describe a noun, a pronoun. Similarly, a noun clause modifies a noun or a pronoun. For example, he wears a shirt which looks very nice. Here, which looks very nice in the above sentence is an adjective clause because it modifies noun shirt in the sentence. That is, it further explains the noun that is shirt. So this is called an adjective clause. But please note that an adjective clause always precedes the noun it modifies. That is shirt, the noun. So it precedes this noun.
Now let's observe some more example of adjective clause. I met the boy who had helped me. Here, who had helped me describe the boy, that is a noun. So it is known as an adjective clause. So is the case over here. An apple that smells bad is rotten. Here, that smells bad describes the noun apple, so it is known as an adjective clause. Over here, which I like, where I live, who was shouting. All of these are known as an adjective clauses because they are describing the noun over here, and they are functioning as an adjective here. Please note that adjective clause begins with relative pronoun that, who, whom, whose, or which, and is also called relative clause. Adjective or relative can be restrictive or non-restrictive. So, a restrictive clause limits the meaning of preceding noun or pronoun, while a non-restrictive clause tells us something about preceding noun or pronoun, but it does not limit the meaning of preceding noun or pronoun. For example, the student in the class who studied a lot passed the exam is a restrictive clause, while the student in the class who had attended all the lectures passed the test is non-restrictive clause. Here in this sentence, the clause who studied a lot restrict information to preceding noun that is student. It means that there is only one student in the class who studied a lot, hence it is a restricted class. While in this sentence, the class who, who had attended all the lectures give us information gives us information about the preceding noun but does not limit this information to the preceding noun. It means that there can be several other students in the class who had attended all the lectures. Now let's explain third type of dependent clause, that is adverb clause. A dependent clause that functions as an adverb in a sentence is called adverb clause. An adverb clause, like an adverb, modifies a verb, an adjective clause, and other adverb clauses in a sentence. It also modifies the situation in main clause in terms of time, frequency, cause and effect, contrast, condition, intensify, to what extent, etc. These these subordinating conjunctions used for adverb clauses can be given as follows. So, time time denotes when, since, until, up to, so on, and cause and effects uh, also are given as, while contrast, although, even, whereas, are in the category of contrast, and condition are also given as follows. Now, from all such words, we will be capable to recognize whether a, a clause is an adverb clause or not. So you need to remember these words, which are often used in adverb clauses. Now let's see. Read some examples. Don't go before she arrives. So here, before she arrives, uh, function as an adverb. Therefore, it is called an adverb clause. He takes medicine because he is sick. Because he is sick is an adverb here. Although he tried too much, he couldn't climb up the tree. Unless you study hard for the test, you cannot get through it. I shall go to the work unless it rains. You are safe as long as you drive slowly. Here, all these highlighted parts are known as adverbs because they function as an adverb in these sentences. And these these clauses modifies verb, adjective, and other clauses over here. And such clause can be recognized from these words, that is, although, unless, as long as, provided. uh, it clearly tells us that what kind of dependent clause are these. Now remember that in adjective clause it mostly describes a noun in a sentence, while in adverb clause it mostly describes a verb in a sentence. So whenever a noun is being described, it will be an adjective clause. On the other hand, if verb is being described, then it would be an adverb clause. Thank you. Please comment, like, and share with your other fellows so that they may also learn something worthwhile.